I've never turned down a fight because it's kind of funny, but all the guys who've always been ranked above me have always turned the fights down with me. They've never taken the fights. They've, people have avoided me like the plague, and that's what a lot of people don't know. And I don't ever call anybody out on it, but there's been a lot of guys who have turned down fights with me. Joe Silva tells me about it all the time. Honestly, I've always been the underdog. I've never gotten credit for any of my fights, any of my wins. Starting back from the Shoney Carter fight, he was old, out of shape. I never got credit for it. No one said, "Oh, John Fitch looked great that night." No one did. To this day, I don't get credit for a lot of my fights. I don't get credit for the Berkman fight. He didn't know who I was at the time, or I don't get credit for even the Thiago fight. Like everybody forgets that we even fought. I've always been the underdog. I think the fight with Chris Wilson was the only fight that anyone expected me to win. And then you win, and oh, he sucks. You should have finished him in the first round. Fans tend to turn guys into superheroes. They forget that they're men. They forget that they have flaws and they make mistakes. And the fight with GSP and Koscheck was a good fight, but it was mainly a wrestling match, and there was not a lot of damage done either way.
The advantage that John Fitch has is that I've already fought George St. Pierre, and I think that's a big advantage. I know how strong George is. I know how fast he is. I know, some of the things about him. I fought him for 15 minutes, and one of the good things that I think John can bring away from this whole experience of me fighting him was the fact that, John trains with me every day, and George didn't exactly kick my butt in that fight. Yeah, he took me down, held position, things like that. But I think that's one of the biggest things. It gives him confidence knowing that, hey, one of your teammates that you spar every day sparred with this guy basically for 15 minutes.
Somebody who you train with every single day, you know how you do with that person every single day. You see them and how they performed against the world champ. It gives you confidence because it gives you a line of sight that a lot of the people don't have. There's a little less mystery in what can happen. But again, it's a matter of going in there and actually doing it. So, knowing and doing are two totally different things. So I still have to be able to pick it up and suck it up and do it. I want to be able to go into a fight and not have to do anything. I want to be able to just go with the fight and react and, enforce my will and my game plan, but not have to force takedowns, not have to force the wrestling match.
I believe John Fitch absolutely can beat George St. Pierre. I think that John needs to create scrambles and keep the action and the pace very high. I think that if he can do that, he's going to come out with a victory.
With George, he can never settle. I think that's the biggest thing. You can never settle with him. It's always got to be moving. Because he gets in dominant, comfortable positions and he does damage. So that's a big thing you can't do. You can't play around in those comfortable spots. You can't play around in guard. You can't play around in half guard, side control, anything like that. If you're waiting, you're losing, you're getting beat up. He's too athletic. He's too fast. Just you can't wait for him. I think a lot of guys make the mistake of waiting to see what he's going to do and try to react. It's a mistake. He's too fast. If you're waiting, you're getting hit. I have to be a technical fighter. No, you keep the camera on me long enough, you'll watch me trip and fall walking out of the gym.
He's not overly gifted in the athletic department, but where he is gifted is work ethic. He trains hard. He's a student of the sport. He goes about things very methodical, and he's a thinking fighter. He makes adjustments and is an intelligent fighter and tries to fight that way.
If I'm not focused on technique, I'm klutz. Sometimes I joke around and tell people I'm not that good of a fighter, but if I lock me in a room with somebody long enough, they're going to get hurt. I don't have those natural abilities. I don't have that speed. I don't have that explosiveness. Even my strength comes from hard work. That was a lot of years of lifting and powerlifting. And I'm confident in winning this fight because of the work that I've done, the training partners and coaches that I have around me. It's not just confidence in myself, it's confidence in my environment and all the things that I have working for me and towards this event.
Fitch has trained very hard. He's been in here training solidly for 12 weeks in fight camp, and he's in great shape, and he's managed to stay relatively uninjured. So we're coming in here, no excuses.
I've never taken a fight that I didn't think I could win. I think you're stupid. With your career, if you know you can't beat somebody, you take the fight anyway, thinking, oh, I have a puncher's chance. You need to get in the training room, develop your skills, and get to that point where you can beat those guys. I think this title shot is an accumulation of everything I've worked for and everything I've put into this sport, put into my life. You don't need to be lucky. You don't need somebody to hand you things. You don't need to be gifted. You just need to be able to work for things. When I found wrestling and I found football, that's all there was. So like it was pretty easy just to focus all my time on those things. So I'm still kind of, you know, get that tunnel vision, that one-dimensional mindset where, you know, fighting's it. That's all I think about. That's all I focus about. You know, I train all the time. People ask me, you know, don't you get burned out? Don't you get tired of training? And I was like, well, you get tired of breathing. It's just, you know, it's just part of my life. It's something that I do all the time. It's not like something I do. It is my life.